Hello, students. So, welcome to the CET Sankalp. I am Akshay Deshpande, and today we will go again further with the next chapter, with the same chapter, sorry, that is the transport in plants. And in our last class, we had mainly discussed some of the important ideas regarding the transport in the case of plants. We have discussed mainly about the water potential, imbibition, and also other concepts such as the plasmolysis, the pathway through which the water actually is absorbed by the roots, and how in the xylem the water is actually being transported to the different parts of the body. Of course, we will discuss that concept, that is a transport of water from one part to the another part through the xylem by the transpiration pull theory in more detail in this particular class. So in general, I can say that we have discussed quite an important aspect regarding the transport in the case of plants. So last class ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನು ಕಲ್ತಿದೀವಲ್ಲ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅವರ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಇಡೀ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಇದಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ today's this new session in the transport in the case of plants, right? So now we know that transpiration plays a very important role. Okay, so now what do we mean by transpiration? Transpiration ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ evaporative loss of water through the stomata ಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, it is called as the transpiration. So now what do we mean by evaporative loss of water? See, if you consider a leaf structure, okay, if you consider a leaf structure, it is having ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್, ಎಪಿಡರ್ಮಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್, ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ನೀವು ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಈ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ತೆಗೆದು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿದರೆ, ಲೀಫ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಪ್ಯಾಲಿಸೈಡ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಪಾಂಜಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸ್ಪಾಂಜಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸು, ಎಪಿಡರ್ಮಿಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಥರ ಪ್ಯಾಲಿಸೈಡ್ ಎಲಾಂಗೇಟೆಡ್ ಮೀಸೋಫಿಲ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಯಾಲಿಸೈಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಲುಕ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದಿ ಲೋವರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಲೀಫ್ದು ಬಾಟಮ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ you find that there are tiny minute openings. Okay, tiny minute openings ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, and these openings are actually called as the stomata. Okay, these minute openings are called as what? They are called as the stomata. So the water molecules which are present in the leaf nallirohanta water molecules ಏನಿರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, they are present in the leaf intercellular spaces. ಇಂಟರ್ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್. ಲೀಫ್ದು ಇಂಟರ್ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎವಾಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಸಿ ಇಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಲೀಫ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್, ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಲೀಫ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ, ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪ್ಯಾಲಿಸೈಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಇಫ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್, this is the nucleus. Okay, so now inside the leaf, this is called as ee tara illond cell ide namge innond ee tara. Okay, so similarly we are having one more cell. So illi innond cell draw ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, right? So this gap, okay, this gap is called as the intercellular spaces. This gap is called as what? Intercellular spaces. So what happens is that ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟರ್ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ವಾಟರ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೋರ್, it is more, the water potential is more in the intercellular spaces. Okay, but whereas outside the leaf, this part is called as the outside of leaf. Okay, leaf in ಹೊರಗಡೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಲೀಫಿನ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ, ದ ವಾಟರ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೆಸ್. The water potential is less outside the leaf. So now what happens is that the water which is present in the intercellular spaces, intercellular leaf in intercellular spaces ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೋ ಅದು ನಮಗೆ ಒಳಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಎವಾಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗ್ಯಾಸಿಯಸ್ ಆರ್ ವೇಪರ್, ವಾಟರ್ ವೇಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಗ್ಯಾಸಿಯಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ ವಾಟರ್ is lost from the intercellular spaces to the external environment, that is outside the leaf, and these water molecules will leave the intercellular spaces through openings which are present in the leaf called as the stomata. Okay, so that is what we mean by the term evaporative loss of water through the stomata. Okay, and this is actually called as the transpiration anta ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. It is called as what? Transpiration ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So now let us actually look into the structure of stomata first. We have studied the structure of stomata very much clear in the morphology and anatomy of flowering plants, mainly in the morphology and all. Okay, so leaf ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ tiny openings ಇರ್ತದೆ, and these openings are actually called as the stomata and the aperture, stomatal aperture ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Okay, the central part. So ಈ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಲ್ ಅಪರ್ಚರ್ ಏನಿರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಸರೌಂಡಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಲ್ ಅಪರ್ಚರ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಎ ಯುನೀಕ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ದ ಗಾರ್ಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ದೆಮ್ ಆಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ದೆಮ್ ಆಸ್ ದಿ ಗಾರ್ಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂಡ್ these guard cell are mainly responsible for opening and closing of the stomatal aperture. Okay, opening and closing of the stomatal aperture is mainly controlled by the guard cell, is mainly controlled by a special kind of cell called as the guard cell. So now if you look into the guard cell shape and structure, okay, it is more like a bean shaped, kidney bean shaped ತರ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ, ಹೌದಾ? So now again, apart from this guard cell, there are supportive cells. For example, this is an example for subsidiary cell ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ಸಬ್ಸಿಡರಿ ಸೆಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಈ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಲು ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್. Mainly involved in what? Support. Support for whom? They mainly provide support to the guard cell. Guard cell ಗೆ mainly support ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸ ಯಾವ್ದು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ? It is the subsidiary cell ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Okay. Apart from that, remaining other cells are called as the epidermal cells ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. This is what you find near the guard cells. Now, the guard cell opening and closing is mainly because of these microfibrils. Okay, these line-like structures what you're looking over here are called as the microfibrils, and these microfibrils are mainly made up of cellulose. They are mainly made up of cellulose. Okay, cellulose ಇಂದ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ microfibrils ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So here we need to consider the arrangement of the cellulose microfibrils. Okay, so cell ಒಳಗಡೆ ಜನರಲಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲೋಸ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಮೆಂಟು ಈ ತರ ಲಾಂಗಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಲಾಂಗಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ನಲ್, ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಲಾಂಗಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಬಟ್ ವೇರ್ ಆಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಗಾರ್ಡ್ ಸೆಲ್, ದ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಓವರ್ ಹಿಯರ್. The arrangement of the cellulose microfibrils in the guard cell is radial. It is radial. Okay, radial arrangement ಇರ್ತದೆ. Because of a radial arrangement of microfibrils, the closing and opening is mainly possible, and it makes actually very much easy. Okay, this is the first point we have to remember. And not only cellulose microfibrils are contributing for closing and opening of the guard cells, or closing and opening of the stomatal aperture, but also the turgidity. ಓಕೆ, ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿದೀವಿ ಟರ್ಜಿಡಿಟಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೇನು, ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ, ಇಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಸಚ್ ಅ ವೇ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ದ ಸೆಲ್ ಮೆಂಬ್ರೇನ್ ಈಸ್ ಪುಶ್ಡ್ ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಸೆಲ್ ವಾಲ್. ಸೆಲ್ ವಾಲ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಪುಷ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಮೇಕ್ಸ್ ದ ಸೆಲ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಸ್ವೋಲನ್, ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ವೋಲನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ಟರ್ಜಿಡಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಈವನ್ ಟರ್ಜಿಡಿಟಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅನ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ರೋಲ್ ಇನ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ guard cell. closing and opening of the stomatal aperture. So now we can look how is it possible. So one point we have already mentioned, that the guard cell arrangement of the cellulose in microfibrils, that is causing the opening of stomata. Okay. Now at the same time turgor pressure increase ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. When the turgor pressure actually increases, what happens? The stomata actually opens ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. At the same time, decrease in the turgor pressure is contributing for closing of stomata. Remember, point to remember. Okay, what is the point that we have to remember? Increase in turgidity. Increase in turgidity is because of water entry. ವಾಟರು ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಸೆಲ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೆಲ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಟರ್ಜಿಡಿಟಿ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಸ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಟರ್ಜಿಡಿಟಿ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಸಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ, ಈಸ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಕಾಸಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ವಾಟ್? ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಗರ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ turgidity. Okay, so ಈಗ if the turgidity actually should decrease in turgidity ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ water should leave the cell. It should leave the ಸೆಲ್ಲಿನ ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು, ನಮಗೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. Now this actually causes the decrease in turgidity, which results in what? Closing of stomata, right? So these are the important points that you have to remember for the closing and opening of stomata. The first thing is, increase in turgidity means that inside the cell, into the cell, water is actually entering. But whereas decrease in turgidity is because of water is leaving the cell. Not only water is the main agent that is playing an important role, but even ions. Okay, ions such as K+, sodium, ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಮುಂದಿನ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿನರಲ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಪೊಟ್ಯಾಷಿಯಂ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ರೋಲ್ ಇನ್ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕ್ಲೋಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಟರ್ಜಿಡಿಟಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಏನು, ನಮಗೆ ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಬಟ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನಮಗೆ ಪೊಟ್ಯಾಷಿಯಂ ಅಯಾನ್ ಕೂಡ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಗಾರ್ಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. And also one more hormone is also playing an important role, that is the ABA, called as the abscisic acid anta karitivi. Abscisic acid is also playing an important role for the closing and opening of the stomata. It is a complex mechanism which is not required at this level, but however we have to remember that potassium ions, abscisic acid and water in general, water plays an important role in opening and closing of stomata anta heltivi. So now when we look into the distribution of stomata, okay, what we can say, distribution of stomata, distribution of stomata. Stomata the distribution ನೋಡೋಣ ಎಲ್ಲಿ, in both cases, in the case of monocot and also the dicot. So when you look into the distribution in both monocot and also dicot, the number of stomata are equally distributed. But whereas in the case of dicot plants, lower part of leaf is having more stomata, is having more of stomata. Upper part nalli irodilla. Okay, lower part nalli stomata bhala important irutte. So ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, what is the main function of stomata? If you ask, what is the main function of stomata? Stomata the function ಏನು, mainly for gaseous exchange. Okay, gaseous exchange ಅಂತಂದ್ರೇನು, ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್, ಓಕೆ, ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಮತ್ತೆ oxygen. Okay, so entry of carbon dioxide into the leaf is mainly through the stomata. Exiting of oxygen through the leaf is mainly through the stomata. And not only these two gases are entering and exiting the leaf through stomata, even water is also lost. ಹೌದಾ? So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ the plant is having a problem over here. If the stomata is open for a long period of time for gaseous exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen, at the same time even water is also lost. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳ ತನಕ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟೊ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಓಪನ್ ಇತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಅಂತೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಕೂಡ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿಯಿಂದ ಎಸ್ಕೇಪ್ ಆಗೋ ಅಥವಾ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಅ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್. ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಅ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಆಫ್. ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ತನಕ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟೋನ ಓಪನ್ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ದ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್. ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಗಿವ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. If it wants carbon dioxide, then it has to lose some water. This is what we mean by the term trade-off ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಹೌದಾ? So the main function of stomata is for the exchange of gases. That is the main function. Okay, so you have to remember that the stomata actually in the case of monocot, it is equally distributed in both parts of the leaf, that is upper and lower part. But whereas in the case of dicot, the lower part of the leaf is having more stomata. It is having what? More stomata. You have to remember this important point. Right? So now, let us look into the factors that actually affect the transpiration. Okay, we will just erase this. Yeah. So now, we have mentioned the same point over here, that the leaf has more stomata on the lower leaf. The lower leaf has more stomata in the case of dicots, but the stomata is equally distributed in the monocots. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೀಫಿನ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲೂ ಮತ್ತು ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲೂ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ಆಗಲೇ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಲೆಟ್ us look into the factors that actually affect the transpiration. So now, what are the factors? For example, these are external factors. ಯಾವುದು? ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರು, ಲೈಟು, humidity and wind speed. These are external factors. Okay, external factors. But whereas at the same time, even internal factors okay, even internal factors also play an important role. Internal factors antandre the factors which are present in the case of plant body. Okay, the internal factors of a plant, they also affect the transpiration rate. Okay, for example, distribution of stomata, percent of stomata that are actually open during this particular time, and also the canopy structure. Canopy antandre tree do ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಭಾಗ ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, this part is called as a canopy. Okay, this is called as what? Canopy ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Next is water status in the plant. Water plant ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, these are the factors that actually determine the transpiration rate. For example, let us look into these factors in more detail. Distribution of stomata ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, in the case of dicots, the lower part of the leaf is having more number of stomata, but whereas upper part of the leaf is having less number of stomata. Okay, so even the number of stomata that is distributed on the leaf plays a very important role. ಕಡಿಮೆ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ ಇತ್ತಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಗ್ಯಾಸಿಯಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜು, ಅಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಲೆಸ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಫ್ ದ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ ಇಸ್ ಮೋರ್ and how it is equally distributed, it means that there will be more exchange of gases, but however there is also equally more importantly loss of water also. ನೀರು ಕೂಡ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಚಲೋ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ವಾಟರ್ ಕೂಡ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ ಓಪನ್ ಇದೆ, ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಓಪನ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಪ್ಲೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ರೋಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟೋ ಓಪನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಡ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟೋ ಓಪನ್ ಇರ್ತಾವೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಚಲೋತ್ನಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ water, the gases are actually exchanged, but at the same time water is also lost. Next is canopy structure, the top part. As we said, the structure of canopy is also playing an important role. And next is water status in the case of plant. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಇತ್ತಂತಂದ್ರೆ then the plant can actually close the stomata so that it cannot lose the water from its body. But whereas if there is a water demand, ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, the plant has to open the stomata unnecessarily because to That is the important point that we have to remember over here. Now we shall go further, that is the important water properties. Three important water properties that are required for the ascent of sap in the xylem. Okay, the first is adhesion, cohesion, and one more is the surface tension. So these three important play an important role in the ascent of sap of water in the xylem. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟರ್ದು ಮೂರು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. Okay, the first property is adhesion. Adhesion generally means that attachment. Okay, so attraction of water molecules to the polar surfaces. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಡ್ರಾಪ್ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ದ ಅಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಟು ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಅಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಟು ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ಟು ದ ಸರ್ಫೇಸಿಗೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಅಡ್ಯಾಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಕೊಹೆಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಕೊಹೆಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ದ ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್. ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲಿ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈಕ್ವಲಿ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, attracts the water molecules. This is called as cohesion. Next is surface tension. Okay, the attraction of water molecules in liquid phase than in what we can say gaseous phase. The attraction of water molecules more. Okay, we forgot one important word, more. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಫೇಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಬಹಳ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ರಾದರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ಇನ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸಿಯಸ್ ಫೇಸ್. ಗ್ಯಾಸಿಯಸ್ ಫೇಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ವಾಟರ್ ಬಹಳ ಫ್ರೀ ಆಗಿ ದೂರ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ದಟ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮೋರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಈಚ್ ಅದರ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದೀಸ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಲೆಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ವೇರ್ ಆಸ್ ಇನ್ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಫೇಸ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಒಂದ್ರ ನಡುವೆ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಹಳ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ವಾಟ್, ದ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್. And all these properties of the water ನಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಈ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಇಟ್ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ಹೈ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಲರಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹೈ ಟೆನ್ಸೈಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್. ಓಕೆ, ಹೈ ಟೆನ್ಸೈಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟೆನ್ಸೈಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್? ದ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಟು ರೆಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಚಿಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಚ್ ಆಗ್ಲಾರ್ದಂಗೆ, ಅಗಲ ಆಗ್ಲಾರ್ದಂಗೆ, ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಚ್ ಆಗ್ಲಾರ್ದಂಗೆ ಇರೋಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಟೆನ್ಸೈಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಲರಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್. ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಲರಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಇಫ್ ಯು take a small tube and if you place this particular tube in a water vessel, the water will actually starts to increase inside this, starts to enter and it increases the level, right? So this is called as capillarity. This is called as capillarity. So ಈ ಮೂರು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ನೀರಿಗೆ ಹೈ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಲರಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ tensile property, that is the ability to resist the stretching is called as the tensile property or tensile strength anta helತೀವಿ ನಾವು. Okay, so the water is actually being pulled rather than we can say it is pushed. ಅಂದ್ರೆ roots ಇಂದ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ xylem ನಲ್ಲಿ from the root structure it is actually pulled to the upper part of the plant rather than it is pushed from the bottom to the top. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗಿಡದ ಕೆಳಗಡೆಯಿಂದ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಟ್ರೀ, ಓಕೆ, ಟ್ರೀ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲು ರೂಟ್ನಿಂದ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ ಆಗಿ xylem ಒಳಗಡೆ ಪುಷ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಪುಷಿಂಗ್, ಬಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಪುಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್. ಪುಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟರು xylem ಕಾಲಮ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಏರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಪುಲ್ಡ್, ನಾಟ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಪುಷ್ಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ three properties, that is adhesion, cohesion and surface tension, are mainly contributing for the movement of or pulling of water into the xylem. Okay, and also they give the water three important properties, that is high capillarity effect and also one more is the high strength, tensile strength. So we shall look into the actual hypothesis, that is adhesion cohesion hypothesis. Adhesion cohesion ascent of sap ಅಂತನೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, so now see, Let us look into this diagram. This diagram actually has been given in your textbook also, and you can see that this is the cross section of the leaf. Leaf the cross section. Okay, leaf cross section. Right. This is the leaf cross section. So now these are the different spongy and palisade cells. So now here this is the actual vein part. Leaf the vein idu. Okay, this part is actually the vein of leaf, right? Vein of leaf. So vein of leaf ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ ನಮಗೆ xylem ಕೂಡ ಇರುತ್ತೆ and also phloem is also present. Now you can see that the intercellular spaces is actually having water. The cells are actually lined by water. Now red marking ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಲ್ಲ, assume that these cells are actually having water on their surface, thin film ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so what happens is when the stomata is open, the water molecule which is actually present in the intercellular spaces and the thin film of water that is lining over the cells, okay, that is actually being exited from the stomata. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀರು ಲೀಫ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಇಂಟರ್ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಸ್ಪಾಂಜಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಲಿಸೈಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಥಿನ್ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ತರ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತದೆ. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಈ ವಾಟರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ? ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ ಇಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ ಇಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ? ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ನಮಗೆ ಲೀಫಿನ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ವೇರ್ ಆಸ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ನಮಗೆ ಲೀಫಿನ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಮೂವ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹೈಯರ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಟು lower potential. So lower potential is outside the leaf, but whereas higher potential is present inside the leaf. So the water actually lives inside. So now ಯಾವಾಗ ವಾಟರ್ ಇಂಟ್ರಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸಸ್ ಇಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಆಗುತ್ತೋ, that water is being replaced. ಯಾವ ವಾಟರ್ ಎವಾಪರೇಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಲೀಫ್ ಇಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೋ ಆ ವಾಟರ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ರಿಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? xylem ನಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ವಾಟರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದು ಈ ಇಂಟರ್ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, again this cycle actually continues. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ವಾಟರ್ xylem ಇಂದ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಂದು ಇಂಟರ್ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಇಂಟರ್ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸಸ್ ಇಂದ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ ಓಪನ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಂಟ್ pulling effect. Okay, so now this actually results in the formation of a continuous water column. ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಕಾಲಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. xylem ಇಂದ ವಾಟರ್ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇಂಟರ್ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸಸ್ಗೆ. ಈ ಇಂಟರ್ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸೆಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರುವಂತ ವಾಟರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೈಮಲ್ಟೇನಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಈ xylem ಇನ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತೆ xylem ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಈ xylem ನಾಗಿರುವಂತ ವಾಟರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವೀನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಂಟರ್ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್. ಸೊ because the water is actually being lost, because the water is being lost from the stomata, the water is constantly pulled from the xylem into the intracellular spaces of the leaf, and this is how the water is actually rising through the xylem column. Right? So we can look into the important points, that is key points that we have to remember. The first is the water flow is always continuous in the leaf. ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಲೀಫ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಲೋ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಇಂಟರ್ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸೆಲ್ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಥಿನ್ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ತರ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ವಾಟರ್ದು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನಾವ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ a water film is actually formed on the cells, and this water is always lost. ಓಕೆ, ನಾವು ಅದೇ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಇಂಟರ್ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ವಾಟರ್ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಏನ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಈ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ ಇಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾಕೆ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ ಇಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರ್. ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಲೀಫ್ ಔಟ್ ಸೈಡ್, leaf outside. ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಲೀಫ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹೈಯರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಟು ಲೋವರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್, ಆಸ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್, it causes the water to be pulled from the xylem and the water cycle continues, and this cycle actually continues. This is how the water rises through the xylem vessels. ಹೇಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಸ್ಟೊಮ್ಯಾಟಾ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಸ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್ ಇಸ್ ಬೀಂಗ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ನಮಗೆ xylem ಇಂದ ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಪುಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, xylem ಇಂದ ವಾಟರ್ ಪುಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, xylem ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಇಸ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್, ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೆವರ್ ಬ್ರೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್. ಓಕೆ, sometimes there will be breaking of water and that is called as cavitation anta kariತೀವಿ. Okay, so let us not discuss about cavitation much over here. It is a completely advanced concept, we will study in the further classes. So these are some important points that we have to remember. So water is being pulled in the xylem column. Okay, xylem ಒಳಗಡೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪುಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪುಷ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಪುಲ್ ಎದಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಹೌ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಸಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಪುಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ xylem we have already discussed just a moment ago, right? Yes. So now we will look into the further concept, that is advantages of transpiration. What is the advantage of transpiration? See, it is going to supply water for photosynthesis. Ultimately, leaf is the structure where the photosynthesis actually occurs. Howda? So now, the transpiration makes sure that the water supply is continuous for photosynthesis. So ultimately, photosynthesis ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಕು? ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಲೈಟ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ನ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮ್ಗೇನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ತಗೊಳುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ನಾವು we will study that in photosynthesis, right? So water supply is necessary for photosynthesis and transpiration makes it sure that water is continuously supplied. Not only water is being supplied but also the transport of minerals. Whatever the minerals are actually absorbed from the roots, they are transported to the different parts of the plant through the xylem only, and that is mainly possible because of the transpiration. And at the same time, the transpiration provides a leaf cooling effect by evaporative cooling anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. evaporative cooling. Okay, evaporative cooling ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಲೀಫ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, at least ಒಂದು 10 to 15 degrees ಅನ್ನ ಕೂಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. Okay, and this is mainly because of transpiration. So these are some important advantages of transpiration. Now we shall study the next part, that is the uptake of mineral ions. So remember one thing, mineral ions are present in the soil, and ultimately these mineral ions, they are required for the plant body for the growth. Of course, we are having a chapter called as mineral nutrition where we will discuss all the mineral ions and their importance also. Okay, but however, here we have to understand how they are actually absorbed in the roots, how they are uptaken. They are mainly uptaken by the active transport. Okay, but in some cases there may be passive transport also. There may be passive transport also. Passive transport. Active transport irutte, passive transport irutte. So we know from our first class that active transport means ATP required is required, but however in the case of passive transport, no ATP is required. No ATP is required. So this is what we actually remember here. So mineral ions are generally transported by active transport and also passive transport. Remember that active transport means they are transported through membrane proteins. Membrane proteins, right? Remember it from our first class, membrane proteins, which are called as pumps anta karitivi. Okay, so obviously active transport is the major way ide antandre we can say that it is actually uphill transport. It is actually uphill transport. It is an uphill transport, right? So now yeah, we will erase this. the translocation of mineral ions. It means that the roots actually absorb the mineral ions, and after they actually get so after they get in so after they get inside the xylem, they are actually transported, right? So again, remember, in the xylem it is always unidirectional, unidirectional, right? We remember this. So ions reach to xylem through active transport and also passive transport. ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ ನಾವು passive transport, right? Yes. So ions reach into xylem, and from xylem they are actually mobilized to different parts of the plant body. So what do you mean by different parts of the plant body? See, different parts of the plant body ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ mainly the growing part ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Okay. So here we use one more term called as sink ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Okay. See, if we are having two terms over here, source and sink. Of course, you will study these terms in the phloem transport also. So the main sink ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ the part of the plant body where there is a requirement of these ions. Okay, that is called as sink. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಇನ್ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಅಯಾನ್ಸು ಮಿನರಲ್ ಅಯಾನ್ಸು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತದೋ ನಾವು ಆ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಸಿಂಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So the sink, the main sink or the main required part of the plant body is the apical and the lateral meristems, where the growth rate is very high. Okay, and also the young leaves, okay, the growing leaf buds, leaves also require these mineral ions, growing fruits and also the flowers. So these are the parts where you see that major of the ions are actually consumed. Now, interestingly, there can be remobilization. There is also one more part we will study more in depth in the next chapter. This is called as remobilization anta karitivi. Remobilization. Now, what do you mean by remobilization? Remobilization antandre the dying part of the plant, dying part or aging. ಯಾವ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಏಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೋ, ಏಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂಥ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿಂದ ದಿ ಅಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟೆಡ್. Ions are transported to the growing part. To the growing part. Now this is called as remobilization. Okay, this is called as what? Remobilization. So there are some ions, okay, which in the case of the part of the plant which is undergoing aging, senescence, what we call. So these ions from the aged part of the plant, they are actually removed, and after removing they are actually transported or they are resent to where? To the growing part of the plant. So this is called as remobilization anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Okay, yes. Now similarly, even some xylem exudates ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, xylem ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆ xylemನಾಗ ಸ್ಯಾಪ್ ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿದೀವಿ. we have analyzed the xylem exudates, and we have seen that nitrogen is carried as inorganic ions in a small quantity. Okay, nitrogen generally plant nalli amino acids ರೂಪದಲ್ಲೇ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. But whereas in some cases we have also observed that nitrogen is not only transported in the form of amino acids, but also it is transported in the form of inorganic ions. So when the nitrogen is transported in the form of inorganic ions, it is generally present in the xylem. Xylem nalli inorganic ions ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, and at the same time small amount of material is also exchanged between the phloem and xylem. Okay, so this is very important. Remember this particular point. ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನಮಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೌದಾ? So small amount of material is also exchanged between the xylem and the phloem. ಓಕೆ, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಸಿಮಿಲೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಅಂತ ಎರಡು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಮುಂದೆ ಮಾಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಹೈಪೋಥೆಸಿಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ದಿಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ರೈಟ್? So this is mainly the translocation of the ions. So now we will look into the next part, that is the phloem transport, that is from source, flow of the food molecules from the source to the sink. Okay, so now for this we are having an hypothesis called as the pressure flow or the mass flow hypothesis, right? So here we are having two diagrams, and we will take the help of these two diagrams in order to understand the concept of the pressure flow hypothesis. See, the food molecules, that is the organic molecules are basically transported in the phloem. Okay, and remember the phloem part is called as the sieve tubes. They are called as the sieve tubes anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Now here the direction of flow in the phloem is generally, we call it as bidirectional. Okay, it is bidirectional. Okay, it means that the food molecules or organic molecules will transport from top to bottom and also from bottom to top. Okay, so this is called as a bidirectional flow, right? So now here we also encountered another term called as the source, and one more is called as the sink. We have also discussed the term sink in the previous slide, but however we will take an in-depth understanding about the source and the sink. Okay, so now source is the one that is involved in production of food, right? Yeah, so source is the production of food anta ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ leaf is an example for what? Source. Okay, so ultimately leaf is the structure that is undergoing, or it is the structure that produces the food through photosynthesis, right? So now sink is the place or part of the plant body where food is required. It is where the food molecules are required. Hence we can say that sink is the place of the plant body where food is actually transported, and source is the part of the plant body where food is actually produced. Okay, so hence we can say that in the phloem transport, the food actually moves from the food movement is bidirectional, it is true, but however the direction of the the food is always transported from source to sink. It is always transported from source to the sink, right? And we are having an hypothesis, as we mentioned, called as the pressure flow hypothesis, called as the pressure flow hypothesis. Okay, and also we are having it another term is the mass flow hypothesis, right? So what is the idea over here? What is the whole concept over here? It is simple, that food molecules flow from a region of high pressure to a region of low pressure, right? So the food molecules will actually flow from a region of high pressure to a region of what? Low pressure, right? This is how the food actually moves inside the phloem. This is what actually they tell you. This is the main concept irodu, hauda? So now obviously already earlier we mentioned that the food is actually produced from the source. Okay, food produce ಆಗೋದು ಎಲ್ಲಾಗತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಫುಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು? ಸಿಂಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು. Okay, sink is the part of the plant body, as we mentioned, where the food is actually needs to be transported. It has to reach the sink. It has to reach to the part of the plant body where it is required. That part is called as the sink ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಆಗ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ, ಹೌದಾ? So now according to this definition earlier, from a region of high pressure to a region of what? Low pressure ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ಫುಡ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಲು ಹೆಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ? ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಸಿಂಕ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ, ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ದ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಹೈ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್, ಓಕೆ, and also the sink should be having low pressure. So the source is the part of the plant where the food is actually produced, and also it is the region of a high pressure. Similarly, the sink is the part of the plant where the food is required, and the food will move from source to sink because it is also what? Low pressure. It is having low pressure. Okay, so this is the whole idea of pressure flow hypothesis. Okay, so you can see in this diagram that the sugar leaves the sieve tubes ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. Okay, so the leaves, this part is actually what? Leaves, and you can see these are the food molecules which are actually transported inside the sieve. From the sieve tubes they are actually transferred to the companion cells. Here in this another diagram you can see, the companion cells. Okay, so companion cells is the cell where from the structure, the leaf cell that produces the food, it is transferred to the companion cells, and from companion cells the food molecules are actually transferred into the sieve tubes. You can see over here. Okay, so now interestingly we have to remember the loading of the companion cells. Loading, what do you mean by loading ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ mainly sucrose ಏನಿರ್ತದಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ದು, the primary food source is actually the sucrose. The sucrose from the leaf cell is actually loaded into the companion cells. So for loading the companion cells, filling the companion cells with the sucrose molecules, obviously as you start adding more and more sucrose molecules inside the companion cells, the concentration of sucrose molecule increases. But whereas the leaf will be having lesser concentration of sucrose molecules. So it means that only active transport is the best way to load the companion cells with the sucrose molecules. So in conclusion we can say that the companion cells is constantly filled by sucrose molecules by active transport only. By active transport. Active transport, right? Yes. Now similarly what happens is that from the companion cells the sucrose molecule is transferred next to the, we can say, sieve tube. This structure is called as what? Sieve tube, right? So sucrose molecules ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, it is transported into the sieve tube. Again from companion cells to the sieve tube the transferring process is through active transport only. ಸುಕ್ರೋಸ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲು ಸಿವ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬಿಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದು ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರನೇ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಈಗ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ದ ಸಿವ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೇನು? ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ವೇರ್ ದಿ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ದ ಫುಡ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಕಡೆ ಇರುವಂಥ ಸಿವ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಕ್ರೋಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ adjacent to this sieve tube you can see that there is a xylem. Okay, it is called as what? Xylem. You can see over here there is xylem, right? So now we all know xylem is mainly involved in what? Transportation of water, mainly involved in the translocation of water. So now this trachea or xylem vessel is very near in contact with the phloem sieve tube. This xylem vessel is very much near or close proximity or close in contact with the phloem sieve tube. Okay, so ಯಾವಾಗ ಈ xylem vessel sieve tube ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ನಾಗಿರ್ತದೋ ವಾಟರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಮೂವ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ xylem vessel to the phloem, that is the sieve tube, through the help of osmosis. Through the help of what? Osmosis. So now you can ask, why does the water actually moves from xylem vessel to the sieve tube? Because the water potential in the sieve tube is what? It is very less, and water potential in the xylem vessel is more. Obviously the water will start to move from higher concentration or a higher potential to the region of lower potential. Lower potential ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ ನಮಗೆ? sieve tube ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. higher potential water ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ ನಮಗೆ? xylem ದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಹೌದಾ? So now this will become mixture of substances. The sucrose along with the water will become the mixture of substances. ಬರೇ ನಮಗೆ ಸುಕ್ರೋಸ್ ಒಂದೇ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, even hormones and some other inorganic molecules are also present in the phloem sieve tube ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So now this sieve tube, which is containing all the mixture of substances, will start to move from a region of a higher pressure to the region of where lower pressure. And what happens is that these molecules will be again unloaded from these phloem sieve tube to the companion cells, and from companion cells they are transported back to the source or the sink. Mainly the sink, right? So this is how we can say the food is actually transported. Remember that the food is the flow from source to the sink is mainly because of difference in the pressure, turgor pressure. That's what actually we mean, right? So now we can also see that arrow mark, water will actually leave. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸಿವ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ವಾಟರ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಡ್ಜಸೆಂಟ್ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ xylem vessel ನಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ವಾಟರ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದ ವಾಟರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಗೋ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದಿ xylem vessels, right? ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ for our understanding purpose, the distance between the diagram is very small over here. Okay, the length of the xylem vessel and also sieve tube is very much small. ಸಣ್ಣ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇದೆ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಸಣ್ಣ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ. If you see the actual plant, the sieve tube and also your xylem vessel will be running up to meters. Okay, so that is why we can say that around 130 meters tankanu water easily transpiration pull mukhantara yenagate, it can be easily transported, right? So what is the key point over here? The key point is that food is transported from your source to sink because of pressure difference. Pressure difference ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ? From a high pressure to a region of low pressure. This is the important term that we have to remember. Okay, and also we have seen that source ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೀಫ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ನಮಗೆ ಲೀಫ್ ಸೆಲ್ ನಾಗಿರುವಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸುಕ್ರೋಸ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ? ನಮಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾನಿಯನ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಲೋಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ಕಂಪ್ಯಾನಿಯನ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಲೋಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಬೇಕು? ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಬೇಕು. ಫ್ರಾಮ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾನಿಯನ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನಮಗೆ ಫುಡ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ even to the sieve tube ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. From sieve tube ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? The sieve tube is very much in close proximity, close contact with the xylem vessels. As a result, some of the water will actually from the xylem vessel come to the sieve tube because of difference in the water potential. Okay, so now this is a region of high pressure. This is what? A region of high pressure, and this the sink is the region of where low pressure, and the food molecules are transported from a region of high pressure to a region of low pressure. ಇದೇ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು? I hope you people have got the idea of pressure flow hypothesis. So let us now look few questions. So the first question we are having is, which of the following facilitates the opening of stomatal aperture? The first option, it is saying that contraction of outer wall of the guard cell, decrease in the turgidity of the guard cells, radial orientation of cellulose microfibrils in the wall of the guard cells. Next is the longitudinal orientation of the cellulose microfibrils in the cell wall of the guard cells. So if you remember from our previous discussion that the opening and closing is mainly because of increase in turgidity and also the radial microfibril orientation. Okay, so for this the correct answer is actually C, radial orientation of the cellulose microfibrils anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Decrease in turgidity will actually close the stomata. ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಹೌದಾ? So now next we will look into one more question. The water potential of pure water. Pure water ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು? ಅದು ಬರೇ ವಾಟರ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಬರೇ H2O ಮಾತ್ರ ಇರಬೇಕು, ನೋ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಥರ ವಾಟರ್ದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ? 0, less than 0, more than 0, but less than 1, and more than 1. Obviously, the water potential of pure water is 0 only. Okay, so answer A is the right option. So now we can look into one more question over here. Water vapor comes out of the plant leaf through the stomatal opening. Though the same stomatal opening is also what? The part where carbon dioxide diffuses out of the stomatal opening during the photosynthesis. Find the right statement from the given options below. Okay. So question ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಟೊಮೆಟಲ್ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಇಂದ ವಾಟರ್ ಡಿಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಕೂಡ ಡಿಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ದ ರೈಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ದಟ್ both the first option is the both process can happen together because the diffusion coefficient of water and carbon dioxide are different. The above process can happen only during the night. The one process occurs during the day, another process occurs during the night. Both processes cannot happen simultaneously. So both processes can actually happen together because the diffusion coefficient of water and carbon dioxide are different. Okay, so now ನೋಡಿದೀವಿ from our discussion, ವಾಟರ್ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಹಂಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಬೋತ್ ದ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಎಂಟರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಟ್ at the same time. Okay, water is exiting through the stomata and carbon dioxide is entering into the leaf through the stomata. That is mainly because of difference in the diffusion coefficient of water and carbon dioxide. Hence we can say that A option is the right answer over here. Ulki 3 options wrong ide. Now, which of the following criteria does not pertain to facilitated transport? Facilitated transport ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಪಡುವಂತ ಯಾವುದಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. Requirement of membrane proteins, yes, there is requirement. Selectivity, high selectivity, yes, it is. Next is transport saturation, yes, saturation ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Uphill transport ಅಂತಂತಾರೆ, no. Hence, uphill is the right answer. Uphill transport is mainly observed in the case of active transport only, not in facilitated transport. Hence, D is the right option here. So let's look into one more question over here. A column of water doesn't break within the xylem vessel because of xylem vessels of tall trees under its weight because dissolved sugars in the water, tensile strength of the water, lignification of xylem vessels, positive root pressure ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, positive root pressure, next is lignification of xylem vessels, tensile strength of the water, and one more is what? Dissolved sugars in water ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So why does the water column does not break? The answer is simple. It is positive root pressure. Okay, remember from our previous discussion of the root pressure. Root pressure water na push ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಪರಿ ಏನು big role play ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. We know that. But however, the continuous water column in the xylem vessels is maintained because of this root pressure, right? Hence D is the right answer over here. Even we can consider the tensile strength, but however the most appropriate answer is root pressure. The next one we can look into another question. Water entering root due to diffusion is a part of endosmosis, osmosis, passive absorption, active absorption. So it's an easy question. The water entering into the root is mainly because of passive absorption. Passive absorption. It does not take any energy. Okay. In other words, osmosis only. The next question is, water will be absorbed by the root hairs when the external medium will be hypotonic, isotonic, hypertonic, and viscous. Okay, so again assume water will always move from a region of high water potential to low water potential. High water potential ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ತರ solution ಗೆ high water potential ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? The water molecules are more but solute molecules are less. Okay, such kind of a solution we call it as what? Hypotonic. And also the solution which is having more water potential, right? So obviously the answer is A, that is hypotonic solution. we will look into one more question over here. The symbiotic association of mycorrhizae is seen in the case of pinus. If you remember this example, it is the pinus. Coralloid roots anta karitivi. Coralloid roots anta karitivi. It is a symbiotic association with the root of the pinus and also mycorrhizae. So mycorrhizae basically increases the surface area. The hyphae mainly increases the surface area, which is helpful for absorption of water and mineral ions. Next question we are having is the form of sugar transported through the phloem is glucose, starch, sucrose, fructose. Say, remember, it is actually sucrose. That is the primary source of energy. Okay. So sucrose is the one that is actually transported into the phloem. Now, during the translocation of food, incoming sugar at the sink is transported out of a phloem by active transport, passive transport, diffusion, and also both B and C. Okay. So here, what do they mean is that idu namge sink ಇದೆ, ಸಿವ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಇದೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಸಿವ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಇಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಫುಡ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಬಾಜುಕ್ ಏನದ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾನಿಯನ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಅದ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ರೂಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಅದ, ಹೌದಾ? So the food molecules are being transported from sieve tube to companion cell, from companion cell to root cell, right? So which method is used? That is what they are asking. The answer is simple. It is the active transport. No, remember, it is not passive transport. It is active transport. The loading and unloading, loading of food molecules at the source and unloading of the food molecules at the sink is both active transport. That is the answer for us. Now, when the cell undergoes senescence, that is aging, the nutrients of the aging cell may accumulate within the cell, bound to the cell wall, remobilize, none of this. So we have discussed this idea, right? We have said that when the part of the plant is undergoing aging or senescence, the inorganic molecules or mineral ions which are present in the aged part are actually removed and sent to the other part of the plant body, mainly growing part, right? And this concept is called as what? Remobilization. So hence the answer is what? Remobilization. Okay. Yeah. So we have not discussed what ions are actually remobilized. We will discuss this in the next chapter, that is mineral nutrition. So we have discussed a few questions from this particular chapter. So what you people can do is go through multiple questions and solve as many as questions possible. And so I will meet you people in the next video where we will start to discuss about the mineral nutrition chapter. Thank you.